What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, talking today about Cyberpunk 2077 because we finally got our first major update about the multiplayer. Because yes, in fact, the studio has confirmed that there is going to be a separate standalone experience that's going to be online and allow you to participate in the Cyberpunk universe, but with your friends. Now obviously people are extremely excited about this because it's Cyberpunk, but with your buddies. But now they've actually released the news that it's going to be filled with microtransactions. And this has caused a lot of debate within the community. Mostly because this studio, CD Projekt Red, has been very vocally anti-microtransaction. This isn't some sort of speculation. This isn't an assumption. They have actually done literally hundreds of interviews publicly and directly condemning microtransactions, and now they've confirmed that it's coming to their future games. In fact, I even decided to pull up some evidence of this. So as you can see here, this is a tweet from 1 year ago where somebody is actually asking them saying, hey, I'm hyped about this Cyberpunk 2077. Is it going to have microtransactions? And they're like, no, of course not. Forget microtransactions in Cyberpunk. We're CD Projekt Red. In fact, I also decided to pull up some great stuff. Like, here's a fantastic article from freaking 2017 where they actually use this amazing line, which is, we leave the greed to others. And in this, they really started to talk. This was like their first time of really sitting down and explaining more about the concepts of Cyberpunk 2077, how it would be an expansive game. Look, like they use the word of like, we want this to be an expansive experience. I have to read this quote here because it's just so amazing, but it goes like this. Worry not. When thinking of Cyberpunk 2077, think nothing less than Witcher 3. Huge single-player open world, story-driven RPG, no hidden catch. You get what you pay for, no BS, just honest gaming like Wild Hunt. Then the clincher, we leave the greed to others. Now you might be saying, okay, this is just in reference to one thing, and this is while the game was still in development. Maybe they changed their mind. Except for the fact that literally 2 years after this interview, they dropped the amazing quote, CD Projekt Red further condemns the concept of microtransactions. CD Projekt Red, the team behind the Witcher series, as well as the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077, has doubled down on their anti-microtransactions stance, deeming the controversial, cool, what is this? What is happening? Why is my thing doing this all of a sudden? Oh my gosh, oh my god, I hate this. This website has actually crashed 3 times while I'm trying to record this video, which is so funny to me because I think everybody is looking at this quote right now. CD Projekt Red has doubled down on their anti-microtransaction stance, deeming the controversial marketing mechanic as a bad idea. Which is funny to me, but it's about to get like 50 times worse. Speaking with GameSpot, CD Projekt Red studio head John Mayames, I'm sure I'm butchering this poor guy's name, referenced Cyberpunk 2077 and restated that microtransactions would not form any part of its gameplay. I think it's a bad idea to do microtransactions after you release a game. It seems like it's very profitable though. It's a hard decision for the guy that runs the business to decide if he should do or not. But if everyone hates it, why would you do something like that that will lose the goodwill of our customers? That's a fantastic question, John. Why would you add microtransactions into a game if you know it's going to piss people off? Now that we've had a chance to actually explain CD Projekt Red's previous thoughts on microtransactions, let's look at how they're going to work apparently in the game itself. So this is the day, this just came out just a few hours ago, which is that Cyberpunk is now actually confirmed that it's going to have microtransactions, but they won't be aggressive. Okay, so just let me say here at the start, I've heard this before. I have heard this so much. Everybody thinks that they have not aggressive microtransactions. Every studio that says this is like, oh, we'll just put loot crates in there, but they'll be optional. Or they say something like, oh, we'll have a battle pass, but it'll just be a tiny thing off to the side to reward gamers. Look, if you're putting microtransactions into a game, 9 times out of 10, you're going to heavily incentivize them. That's the way it works. The only way to actually make money is to constantly sell the product. And if you don't have an upfront cost, typically the way you make your profit is by trying to sneak in those nice little microtransactions constantly. Microtransactions and aggressive monetization of games has become a widespread issue over the course of this generation, but while most publishers have resorted to implementing such tactics in their releases, CD Projekt Red has been one of the few developers in the industry who have refused to do so. Their post-launch models have been praised universally, and Cyberpunk 2077 is poised to follow in the footsteps of Witcher 3 in that regard. Details of Cyberpunk 27's post-launch DLC and expansions will be revealed soon, but beyond its single player, another huge piece of post-launch content that is very far away, this is probably coming in like 2022, is a full-fledged multiplayer component. Given its multiplayer trappings, a setting that inherently lends itself to monetization opportunities, can we expect monetization in Cyberpunk multiplayer mode as well? We can, it seems. Okay, so now it's time to read about how these microtransactions are actually going to work, and I have a feeling that some people are going to be incredibly offended that I'm even reading this, so let's just actually see his words exactly and then talk about it afterward. Speaking to investors in a recent Q&A, CD Projekt Red president Adam Kicinski said that Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer will indeed have microtransactions since it's a great way for selling things, but assured us that those microtransactions won't be aggressive and will instead be designed in a way that makes people happy to spend money. We're never aggressive towards our fans. We treat them fairly and we're friendly, so of course not. We won't be aggressive, but you can't expect great things to be bought. The goal is to design monetization in a way that makes people happy to spend money. I'm not trying to be cynical or hide something. It's about creating a feeling of value. Same as with our single player games. We want gamers to be happy while spending money on our products. The same is true for microtransactions. You can expect them, of course, and CD Projekt Red or Cyberpunk is a great setting for selling things, but it won't be aggressive. It won't upset gamers, and it'll make them happy. That's our goal at least. I'm glad they ended this right here. Monetization is always a sticky topic, and so often we see developers and publishers failing to strike that right balance with microtransactions in their games. Hopefully, CD Projekt Red will have better luck than most. Look, here's the thing. We have actually seen an increase in bad microtransactions. There has been a skyrocketing amount of new skins, crappy boxes that you have to pay like $5 for, paid level boost in games like Assassin's Creed. We're actually seeing that these studios are learning to over-monetize, if anything else. They're trying to find new ways to make sure you're paying for every single piece of the experience. And I am conflicted simply because I do like CD Projekt Red. I have already purchased like 5 copies total of The Witcher 3. I actually bought it on Nintendo Switch. I bought it physically on PS4, digitally on PS4, and on Xbox One. I mean, I really like their projects of CD Projekt. But it's very difficult for me to trust anyone when it comes to microtransactions. This is a business that prides itself on predatory practices. It's about trying to make it where people buy stuff even if they didn't intend to. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people in the freaking comment section being like, I love microtransactions, they're so good, and CD Projekt Red is just trying to make a profit. This is already one of the biggest and richest independent studios on the planet. So if you want to try and defend them making even more billions of dollars, that's on you. But personally, I am not thrilled about the idea of microtransactions coming to the Cyberpunk universe. But what do you think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Oh god, I honestly think people are going to be so mad that I talked about this. But look, I don't like loot crates. I don't like microtransactions. I'm going to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.